water, earth, fire, air. Hello, Avatar The Last Airbender fans or non-fans or just whoever you are, you beautiful person, and welcome to Jones Vibes, where today I'm going to be talking about my favorite television show, Avatar The Last Airbender, and why I think it's the greatest television show ever made. I know that's pretty intense, but if you lost your cabbages or you're just making the trek back from Ba Sing Se, I just want to say I think that you're in the right place. And if you're new here, hit the like button. That'll hopefully get this video out to more ATLA fans just like you. And also, even if you're a firebender, go ahead and subscribe because there's a lot more content on the horizon. But let me start by telling my story. When Avatar The Last Airbender first premiered, I was just about at the age where I was phasing out of Nickelodeon and more into film and live-action television. And just from the advertisements that I had seen for it, it just didn't really look like my type of thing. I'll admit, I was a rather uncultured kid and the anime style was completely lost on me. It wasn't until a bit later in life that I started to give them a chance, and the entire reason was because of The Last Airbender. I had heard the reviews after the series finale, and people were just talking about this beautiful story with friendship, action, high stakes, and romance. And of course, water, earth, fire, and air. It seemed cool, and so my brother and I went on the adventure during a summer break. We binge-watched all 3 seasons, and by the end, my life had been changed. A cartoon connected with me deeper than most anything ever had. I couldn't believe it. The story of Aang and his friends saving the world. A world where bad people can have redemption and good people can lose their way. Where complicated family dynamics are examined and personal insecurities can be overcome. A world where anything is possible. And whether I knew it or not at the time, I needed this show. And like a lot of people, I became a little obsessed. I got a tattoo on my arm and have watched all 3 seasons annually pretty much ever since. But something that I immediately recognized after watching this show for the first time is that it really is just a classic version of the hero's journey. I think that's what sucked me in so much. There is a formula to telling the perfect story. Chapter 1, the good guys win the battle, but the war has just begun. Chapter 2, the bad guys win and our heroes learn a valuable lesson. And Chapter 3, our hero overcomes adversity and uses everything that they've learned to save the day. Now, obviously, there's a lot more nuance to these stories that set them apart, but the skeleton remains the same, and that's why it clicks for me. You have a beginning, a middle, and an end. A lot of times you see television shows capture lightning in a bottle with a kick-ass first season, but then it's overly stretched out and worn down until what you loved so much about it in the first place is gone. It's nice to know where you're going. That's why shows like Breaking Bad and Stranger Things have found so much success. They were planned out and didn't deviate from that path. And neither did creators Michael and Brian with this. Starting with Book 1, Water, and our introduction to this world. And we're immediately introduced to Katara and Sokka, 2 siblings of the Southern Water Tribe. More like Southern Water vibes, because Jones vibes. I don't know. But Katara is earnest and a bit headstrong, and you can instantly tell that Sokka is going to be a good bit of comic relief to rely on. But they discover Aang in the iceberg, and right away we are swept away in this story. Aang got trapped in the ice like Captain America or something, and there's this Fire Lord guy, and Katara can move water, and... Okay, wait, is it just me, or is that flying bison thing the coolest animal I've ever seen? It's just so captivating. And Aang, being a child, represents the purest intentions and heart that you can imagine. We find out with him that he's lost everything, and also carries this heavy burden of being the Avatar. But they are also being hunted, and this brings us to Prince Zuko. And for me, he is the standout character. I remember making the connection that he was voiced by Dante Basco, who played Rufio in Hook, another movie that had a huge impact on me. But that blew my mind. And the inner turmoil that we zero in on with this young man with a scarred face who is just searching for purpose is deep. We can feel his pain. And also with him, we have quite possibly the best mentor that one could find in Uncle Iroh. The disgraced war general that is in a similar boat now, but who is older and wiser and obsessed with tea and pai sho and truly just cares for his nephew. They're on a mission for their nation, a nation that seeks complete control and dominance. An empire, if you will. And I love the contrast from fire to air. good and evil, and it's so clearly laid out for the viewer. And with a bulk amount of episodes in each season, they are able to build this world out so that we are able to understand it, all the while catching us up to speed on the personal journeys that each character is facing. I really do love Season 1, and by the time you get to the Siege of the North, it all feels earned. Aang grows and masters waterbending, demonstrating to everyone that he is capable of great things, and also that he's capable of being a teacher with Katara. And then the whole subplot of Princess Yue being the moon spirit and Admiral Zhao trying to kill the moon is just insane. I love it. But we need to stop because we haven't talked about one of the most important parts of this show. Momo. But seriously, Appa and Momo are actually characters in this show. They don't just lay them to the side. As an animal person myself, I get so worked up at points because I genuinely care about those two as much as the rest of the characters. The episode Appa's Lost Days from Season 2 has always ripped my heart out, man. But that does lead us into Book 2, Earth. And are you ready? Because the boulder's ready. This season is my favorite season. It's my Empire Strikes Back. From the Cave of Two Lovers, where Aang and Katara's love story starts to take shape, to Zuko alone, which is a turning point in his story. We find out about his mother, who left him. He is broken and he has already caused so much pain, but good in him is starting to take hold and reveal itself. He doesn't have to follow orders anymore. He doesn't have to be anyone or anything. It's a beautiful story of finding yourself. And it's one of the best redemption stories that I've ever seen. And then we also have the Blind Bandit in our introduction to Toph, a small blind earthbending girl, but with this tough as nails personality. It's brilliant. When they were trying to create her character, apparently she was originally supposed to be a big, strong dude, and I'm so happy that she is what we ended up with. I think that just her story in general speaks volumes. I also love the Tales of Ba Sing Se, where we get a bunch of single stories, but the key one is finding out about Uncle Iroh and his son that passed away. It gives so much clarity to his character and also to why he cares so much for Zuko. We also start to get a really good look at the opposition, the true antagonists, Azula, Zuko's sister, and his father, Fire Lord Ozai, who's voiced by Mark Hamill, by the way, if you didn't know, just a complete win. Luke Skywalker voices the villain. How can you not like this show? But with that, the evil is truly felt. Azula has no care, no remorse. Her personality is destruction, and she doesn't care if it kills her brother. He is nothing but a screw-up and an obstacle in the way of her and power. And our heroes have to deal with brainwashing and this whole Dia Lee situation. Lake Logai welcomes you.
Okay.
And just like I was talking about with story structure, our heroes have to fail. And they do. Aang can't master the Avatar state because that would involve letting go of Katara. And so he tries to put everything on his shoulders and almost gets killed for it. Zuko fails too, fails to stay true to his heart and instead chooses his family. The finale title says it all, the crossroads of destiny. I feel like a lot of us have moments like this in life, a defining chapter where we can either choose to learn and grow from our mistakes or fall back into the ways that got us to the mistake in the first place. Sorry, that was kind of deep. But finally, we get to Book 3, Fire. And every story needs an ending. But not all of them end in as satisfying of a way as this one does. I think that there is a lot to love about a lot of the episodes in this season, but it really is just about building back up. Aang at this point knows what he has to do. It's up to him to save the world, but he also understands that his friends are there for him. He doesn't have to take this burden on alone. They're not going to leave his side. Toph learns to metal bend and also learns that there is more to life than rock and stone. Katara learns to blood bend, which is crazy, by the way, but she also overcomes a lot of pride and learns to allow herself to love and to let go. And Sokka becomes the warrior that he always wanted to show his father that he was, but most importantly, he proved it to himself. And then with Zuko, we finally get to explore this father-son relationship. The entire family dynamic here is so messed up, but we learn a lot more about it and more about Ozai. More about the friendship between Ozai and Avatar Roku, foreshadowing a bit of what is to come. What could have been will now be. And as we head into the finale, all of the story threads seem to meet in the middle. Sozin's Comet parts 1 through 4 are on such a grand and epic scale that it's hard to describe, but to me, this entire finale is perfect. Like I said earlier, it passes well beyond just a cartoon for me at this point. It's a journey, and going on this journey with Aang in this group is one of the most beautiful things that you'll ever do. Zuko and Azula's fight is really one of the highlights of the entire show. It's so intense. Brother and sister battling each other. It's a showdown. And we see Azula quite literally slip into madness as Zuko evolves into the true Fire Lord, taking back his nation, putting his life on the line. And the music in these moments is just incredible. It's beautiful. But then we have Aang, the Last Airbender, facing down the Fire Lord and fighting for the future of the world, overcoming injury and anxiety and mastering all 4 elements. And in the most pressing moment, instead of ridding the world from its most dangerous man, he rids the man of his most dangerous feature. Aang grows beyond just an airbender and turns into the Avatar. Zuko is crowned Fire Lord, standing next to Aang, heralding in a new era, an era of peace and love. And speaking of that, Aang and Katara finally share a moment. And it gets me every time. You know, all of the characters in this show grow so much. There is so much depth and foresight layered into each season. And the messages and themes that it presents are applicable in everyone's lives, in every community around the world. It's hilarious at times, and it's emotional at times. You can see that it was made with a lot of passion and a lot of heart. And it may not have changed your life or hit you in the same way, but it changed mine. And I'm thankful for that. Avatar: The Last Airbender will always be something that I hold near and dear to my heart, and that's why I think it's the greatest show of all time. But that's just me. Maybe Sokka, Momo, and I just drank too much cactus juice. I don't know. Let me know your opinion down in the comments, and also you might have noticed that I didn't bring up Korra at all. I actually have my own separate feelings regarding that show, and so if you'd like to hear me talk about it, please let me know, and maybe I could put another video together for that. The next few years are going to be huge for us ATLA fans, and I'll be doing a lot of breakdowns and reviews with the live-action version that's being released here soon on Netflix, as well as breaking down some of the future releases that they have planned, so be sure to subscribe and stay up to date. And if you would, give this video a like to show your support and help this video. And also make sure to remember to keep up the good vibes, because here at Jones Vibes, I believe that good vibes can save the world.